Wait a minute. Gidalti Sanchez. One of the most sinful people I've ever worked with. Did you forget who you were? What you've done? Last time I checked, divorce and fornication were sins, Gidalti. Or how about the fact that you hold so much hate in your heart? If this was a man who his looks could kill, there wouldn't be a single one of you here. Or how about the fact that just recently you were doubting in God? Yeah, that's right. A man born and raised in church just a few months ago was doubting in God. Gidalti, your past is too ugly. You're a sinner and a failure, and that's the truth. That's right. Sit back down.
The devil is a liar. See, a liar is a teller of lies. Lies is the opposite of truth, but apparently I don't know what truth is because all my life I've been a lie. See, it's easy for him to point fingers and remind us of our past. If yesterday I fell, then you can be sure he'll never forget that. He'll be there to point, laugh, and judge. The devil will never stop talking. He reminds me of how I ran away from God, but he doesn't see that now for God I am walking. He reminds me of who I was, but not of who I am. He tells me, Gidalti, you remember how you felt? And I say, yes, Satan, but can you see that now I stand? Lies. It's the opposite of truth. See, truth is what the devil likes to take. He turns it into lies, uses it against you to leave you confused, and then he'll be there to accuse. Yo, I know I'm not perfect. You don't have to remind me. I see it every time I look in the mirror, even though I try to put the past behind me. But check it. It's a good thing that I remember the person that I used to be, because I'm a work in progress. Gidalti, under construction, but still the devil wants to accuse me. So what do you want me to say? That my life is a mess? Okay, I admit it. As a matter of fact, excuse me, everybody. I'm about to confess. Take notes. Truth. I turned my back on God, and like the prodigal son, I was rebellious. I grabbed all my things and I went on the run. I never looked back until things went so wrong, until I felt so alone. I knocked my heels and I said, there's no place like home. But the path that I took was dark. There was no yellow brick road. I took advice from a wizard instead of putting my trust in the Lord. Truth. I got married young because I didn't wait on God, and I was quickly divorced. I tried to do things on my own, so I put the carriage in front of the horse. It doesn't work that way. See, and soon after, I fell into the act of fornication, and if that wasn't enough, I was still a prisoner in a jail cell called masturbation. Yeah, I said it. I'm here to talk about truth. See, we may not have the same battles, but we are fighting the same war, and until we realize where our past is and face it, then our futures will always be on the floor. That's truth. See, the worst thing about me is my attitude. I have a bad temper. Yo, I can yell off a storm. I was colder than December. They didn't like the winter, so they left me for warmer weather. I promised my exes sunny days, but they knew that this cold wouldn't get any better. Sort of like New England weather. I was angry. So much hate and grudge built up. I didn't think it could go any further, but I turned into a mad scientist. My mind was my lab, and my experiment was murder. I had it all drawn out. I was tired of the threats and the conflicts. There was only one way to take care of this guy. In my mind, I was already a convict. But the worst came to be when I started to question my Lord. I had little faith to begin with, and now doubt was knocking on my door. Yo, I was stupid. I let him in. I gave him a seat and a drink. We conversated for a while. That's when my life started to sink. I started to question everything I believed. That's when I started to drown. And then I questioned my God. That's when I was dead and nowhere to be found. I lost myself. I didn't even know who I was. I was no longer the same person. My life just took a long pause. Selah. So I guess he's right. If you take a record of my sins, how could a man even stand? But then again, the Bible tells me that God is righteous and he is willing to extend his forgiving hand. I mean, if he forgave the Samaritan woman, then I know he'll forgive me. It's true, I've done some sinful things, but the last time I checked, God forgave Mary Magdalene. And Peter was a man full of doubt, but in the end his faith was strong. I know that God is working in me, and to have questions isn't wrong. It's what you do with those questions before it turns into doubt. God's love, teaching, and understanding is what this life is all about. See, Paul was a man with murderous thoughts, and his heart was burning with hate, but God blinded him with love, and he began to operate. He took out Paul's heart, and he gave him a piece of his own. Saul's past didn't matter. Paul's future was about to be known. See, I too went through a similar operation. I had to get heart surgery. I told God, if you don't fix my heart, Lord, you might as well bury me, because hatred is like a disease, and I needed a cure. Psalms 51, I pray to God for a heart that is pure. But this life can get hard. Many times I feel weak, but there's no turning back. This prodigal son just got home, and I'm about to enjoy my father's feast. See, the enemy thinks he's slick, though. He's always going to try to confuse you. But when he reminds you of your past, all you got to do is remind him of his future. The truth can look ugly, but that's only because he exposes it in the dark. God will show you truth through himself, because he is truth. He is light, and he is pure with no mark. See, truth is, everybody has a past, but what's important is our present. And as long as we make it right in the eyes of God, then our future will be full of blessings. Now that's truth. What you got to say now, Satan? I'm exposed.